Flow-Seal is made of bovine gelatin and human thrombin, and that product will work at the two extremities of the coagulation cascade. Of course, with the gelatin, you will work here at the beginning, and with the human thrombin, you will work at the end of the coagulation. The good thing is that that product will swell a little bit in the first seconds, and that will provoke a tamponade effect. And then the fibrin clot will form. This product works very fast, and that is why it is indicated for any kind of bleeding, including spurting bleeding. So that's really a very interesting product, but should be used as an adjunct to good surgical technique, meaning if you can use cautery, if you can use ligature, use it, and this product will come as an adjunct. A very strong hemostat, but there are some rules to respect. You have to apply the product as close as possible to the bleeding site. Really, less than a centimeter. You have to be fast. You have to keep the product on site. You will see in a minute what I mean with the video. And use enough, which is 1 milliliter. You don't need to use a lot. And wait, be patient, 2 minutes, which is a century for surgeon, I know that, but 2 minutes for the fibrin clot to form. And always irrigate the excess afterwards. This product cannot be used prophylactically. It needs the fibrinogen of the patient, which means very simply no bleeding, no Flow-Seal. This is the application technique with the endoscopic applicator. So you can push in the applicator, this one, the 5 milliliter of Flow-Seal will last in the applicator, and you push later on with the mandarin. So this is, probably this one will not work also. Okay, so this was the case of cholecystectomy. No, and what I meant here is that in that case, where the patient was operated with an acute cholecystitis, there was a huge inflammation, and the surgeon observed bleeding, venous bleeding, very severe bleeding coming here, and he just used Flow-Seal. But what was important to mention that he came first with the wet gauze, and the wet gauze was approximate to the Flow-Seal immediately after application. You have to be very fast here, and if you are fast enough, you keep the product on site and you get a very strong clot. Sorry, we have many other videos on our style, and you will see that. I just want to mention this paper and to say that I disagree with it. It was performed in Italy, and this was a comparison between buttressing and systematic prophylactic application of Flow-Seal, which is not the case. This product is not designed for this. So this was to reduce the leakage. In the group of Flow-Seal, there was even one leak. Of course, this product is not designed for this. It is designed to stop the bleeding. I just want to mention this. So thank you very much for your attention, and I hope we can have a short discussion afterwards. And sorry for the video.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Now we go on to the next session, which is the 6th debate since morning, and it should be a very interesting debate. It is for sleeve gastrectomy and for gastric imbrication. And we have Dr. Praveen Palanivellu and Dr. Mahendra Narvaria debating. I request Dr. Praveen Palanivellu to talk on in favor of sleeve gastrectomy.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, my sincere appreciations and congratulations to Dr. Mufi and his team for this wonderful venue and the wonderful program again. You can go ahead. So I think I'll be speaking for sleeve against imbrication, which would include both the non-banded and the banded imbrications. First of all, I don't have any disclosures and no offenses with Dr. Narvaria. He's a good friend of mine. It's just against imbrication and nothing against him. Basically, we are trying to compare sleeve gastrectomy against the imbrication. So I'm supposed to speak for sleeve gastrectomy, which you all know it. I think to support sleeve or against imbrication, I can either speak for sleeve, the advantages of sleeve, or the minuses of the imbrication. I would choose the latter. I'll speak more that is against the imbrication, because sleeve, all of you would have done a sleeve, and I think hardly there'll be few surgeons who are against a sleeve. So there's no point of me talking, oh, sleeve is such a wonderful operation. It's simple as such. So I think we all know it's becoming very, very popular, especially in India. Although we don't have published data, it's probably the most commonly done operation in India. The weight loss results seem to comparable to the gastric bypass, at least in a subset of patients. I think it's reproducible, and that's why most surgeons are coming to conferences just to learn how a sleeve is actually being done. And if it fails or you don't get adequate weight loss, you have multiple options. And from the metabolic perspective, it's more than just a restrictive operation. We all know the hormonal profiles. I think we have discussed a lot about that. When I wanted to speak against the imbrication, I was trying to take, okay, let me take some theoretical advantages to speak, okay, are there real advantages? I tried to search the internet, speak with surgeons who are doing, try to sit and think. I just got very little points which I felt are theoretical advantages for the imbrication, which first thing would be there is no staplers. I think this is how most people would argue. Oh, there's no staplers, so there's no cost involved. I think the question is, if this stapler is not there, are we going to charge just what we're going to charge for a laparoscopic cholecystectomy? No. I think most of us are charged 5 times than the actual stapler cost. That's the honest truth. But although the theoretical advantage of cost is definitely there. Coming on to simple is definitely not simple. You need to be good in endosuturing capacity. Although sleeve, even without knowing endosuturing, I mean, although it is not so, possible to do a sleeve, but not a gastric imbrication, although you have the endostitches coming up, the concept of endosuturing and knotting is very important. So it's not simple as claimed. Even Talapur, I think this person with the largest series of gastric imbrications has reported 70 to 90 minutes average operating time, which is much higher than most sleeve gastrectomies. And those who would try to support imbrication would always say, like when patients ask me, doctor, which is reversible? If I need to convince somebody for bypass, I say this is reversible. The same way people trying to convince us, they say by calling it is a reversible operation. Yes, theoretically it is reversible, but those of you who've been doing redo fundoplications would know. Going into that area, finding that plane where the suturing was done, getting it is not an easy job, especially if the imbrication was done in 2 layers. This is not going to be an easy job at all. Although we can call it is reversible, yes, but it's very difficult. Number 2 about reversibility is how many often we see sleeve patients coming back asking us kindly reverse it back. If they really want to reverse it back, they eat more and make it bigger. That is reversibility. So that question is again just for convincing. So that is again not an advantage. And reduce complication rates. Yes, we are forced to say there is no staple lines, so no possibilities of leak. It is not so. In the same ACMOMS a couple of years back, the Romanian surgeon Copso had showed you bad leaks from an imbrication, right from the OG junction to the mid-body to the antrum, where not. Sleeve you most often get only in the OG junction, but in imbrication it's everywhere. The stitch that is taken basically thins out the stomach, and that can give way to actually cause a leak. And one of the reports had said 8.8% complication rate, starting from nausea, vomiting, to obstructions, to funny complications like gastrogastric hernias, which we have never heard of. And it is not leak-proof. It is definitely not leak-proof. There are enough and more publications that say its imbrications can leak. And a recent review article had shown 25% of readmission rates for nausea and vomiting. Wong is not here, who does a lot of banded imbrication, has told me that, at least because he was supposed to speak initially, so I wanted to fight with him. Dr. Narvaria is here, so. A lot of 1 to 2 weeks post-surgery, they have a lot of nausea and vomiting, which you need to control. You need to put steroids even for a lot of patients. That's what I was actually told, because I have not done an imbrication. So 25% readmission rate for nausea and vomiting is definitely not acceptable. When we are working at improving the quality of life of a patient, this 1 or 2 weeks is definitely a tough time for this patient to handle that. Okay, you have operated a patient has gone home well. What is the results? We all know about sleeve, so that's why I'm not talking anything about the sleeve. How simple it is, what is the results? We have some long-term data, but a lot of short-term results, etc. The mean excess weight loss, the short-term result is only about 35 to 58%, and that just continues after that. That's very, very variable. And 35% average weight loss means a lot of patients have lost less than 35 also, which is definitely not acceptable as a weight loss operation. So what surgeons have done, including Wong, who's supposed to come, they are now adding a band onto the imbrication, calling it the banded gastric plication or the banded imbrication. Here, is it that are we trying to revive a band that is dying or to help the imbrication from dying? I think trying to add two negatives may not become a positive. Just trying to support, okay, let me put this, can I achieve better results is what surgeons are coming out calling it banded gastric plication. You call it laparoscopic gastric banded plication or banded gastric plication, whatever. But this is now in vogue, a kind of a popular operation that's being discussed. And this Wong's article in 2013, his report was that the mean excess weight loss at the end of 18 months was in favor of sleeve, but at the end of 2 years, it was similar. I just couldn't get that. Not very significant, was significantly towards sleeve at 18 months, but at 2 years, it was similar. So I tried to plot my own graph, which was something like this. The red is the sleeve. So they lose most of the excess weight they're supposed to lose by 1 year. I think that's what we know. And they usually maintain a plateau. I mean to say in the short term. But if you take a gastric plication or a banded gastric plication, the weight loss is more linear and you get a similar result only at the end of 2 years. So this is what we have at the end of 1 year. Because patients, when they walk into your clinic, they want to get the weight loss as quick as possible. Even if you say 6 months or 1 year, they want it even more quicker. If we are going to tell them it will take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, they're not going to like it. That we are looking at results which we can achieve early and again maintain it on the long run. 1 year results are definitely far inferior compared to that of a sleeve. This is published data of the banded gastric plication. So what is the point? Something is not working. So first, plication didn't work. So you put in a band. Then the band is not working adequately. Then you start tightening the band. Then you say, I'm not getting good results at 1 year, but at the end of 2 years, I'm getting you good results. What are we trying to achieve? What is that we are trying to prove by doing all this one by one onto something? We're actually making things complicated. Do we really need all this happening? When something is already working well, giving you excellent results from the metabolic point of view, weight loss point of view, do we need that is a question. Then comes the issue of weight recidivism or inadequate weight loss. You have a sleeve patient. I think a sleeve can be converted to anything. We can re-sleeve it, gastric bypass can be done, duodenal switch can be done. Of course, this is a completely different entity by itself, yes, but when there's a sleeve, you can have all this. But that's the same thing if you take a gastric plication. You cannot do a re-sleeve. Although, yes, there are reports of converting to a gastric bypass. I pulled one of the YouTube videos to find out how this video works. There was a comment by a surgeon who had, this was the comment from the YouTube. Oh my God, this is too painful and at risk of complication that might be life-threatening. So nobody wants to do it. And the biggest point we need to note down here is, the plication that we do is actually 4 layers of stomach in there. When we're trying to do a plication, we cannot be sure whether the staple lines is going onto this 4-layered stomach. If it hits there, and that is going to leak for sure. Because a stapler is not designed to fire or staple 4 layers of stomach. So creating a gastric bypass, that is an important part of the operation. So we need to be very careful about that. We can say I can convert to a gastric bypass, but that is difficult. And the only option we have left is converting to a duodenal switch, which I think very few surgeons have attempted to do on Indian patients or also on Asian patients for multiple reasons. So this is about the weight regain. Again, there is no advantage from the weight regain point of view. So to conclude, is it economical? By putting on the band, we have actually made it more expensive than just the sleeve gastrectomy. Reversibility, although theoretically possible, practically it's not an easy job. Better weight loss, definitely not. The results are maybe equal at the end of 2 years, but definitely inferior at the end of 1 year. But without the band, even that is not there. Less complications? No. It is not leak-proof. In fact, the chances of obstructions in the form of stricturing or in the form of gastric herniations are higher. Nausea, vomiting is there. And when you need a revision, it's going to be very complicated. So here we have a procedure That's neither having an advantage, neither reducing what a sleeve is causing in the form of other complications. So I think what's the point of going ahead with such an operation? So I would like to conclude telling, whatever we do, a patient destined to lose weight will lose. Patient who's not destined to lose weight will not lose. So I think instead of wasting time trying to revive something that's dying or to resurrect something that's already died, it's just a waste of time, energy, and mind. And better we can focus on understanding the obese patient and the comorbidities than spending time on the other things. I have nothing more to say. I take this opportunity to invite you all for our 5th International Conference on Bariatric Surgery. I'm doing along with the Metabolic Conclave and the International Excellence Forum in the month of November. I invite you all to participate. Thank you all.
Let us look forward to how Dr. Mahendra Narwaria rebuts such a forceful presentation by Praveen.
Good afternoon, friends. First of all, I want to thank Mufi and Aparna for organizing, for inviting this conference and organizing such a wonderful conference. Congratulations to your team. I think Praveen has done a good job. He just spoke only about imbrication. He has not uttered a single word about the sleeve. So that itself says, but I think we need to look at the कर दो Praveen effect. Okay. I think last few years, most of conferences, if we see, imbrication has taken a good time of all of us, and everybody is looking at imbrication. I'll just take you through this, and finally we'll decide which is better and which is not good. If you look at the background, both of them are restrictive procedure. Just even imbrication is a restrictive surgery like sleeve gastrectomy, which is less complex, no stapling, and minimum complications. There are preclinical data which are available showing zero sutures are reliable and weight loss is significant and durable. This was the first paper which was published in 2006. An animal study. This is the only animal study which was published, where they compared anterior and greater curvature application. Similarly, the anterior application was not very successful, so it is not got a very good popularity and usually vanished. And this was another publication on greater curvature application in 2008, wherein they have studied about 100 patients, aged 56 females and 44 males, and age range of 15 to 64 years. Hospital stay was up to 12 hours. There was no complication reported, and follow-up up to 12 months was showing excess weight loss of more than 26 kg. This was a publication of Telbor. Like, he started this surgery in 2001, almost same time when sleeve gastrectomy was started, and his results are showing more than 60% excess weight loss at 6 months and 55% at 4 years, and the complication rates were very low, which is less than 1%. I don't think with sleeve gastrectomy we have a single institute where we have complication rate of less than 1%. And he tracked all his patients up to 10 years, and there are more than 500 patients. And this was his publication. This is a surgery where we fold the stomach inside in 2 layers and reducing the capacity. Since my video is not taking here, I'll just run a separate video from this. in greater curvature plication, we separate the omentum from the greater curvature the way we do in sleeve. The only difference is here in sleeve gastrectomy, we usually try to remain close to the stomach. Here, since the stomach is going to be retained inside, we need to remain a little away from it and should not be very close to it to avoid future thermal injury or leak. And then the two layers suturing is started, starting from the G junction. There are different ways of doing it. We can do by routine sutures, we can do with endostitch, and there are some plicating staples are being developed, though they are not yet available in market. Sorry that, and this is the barium study after 1 month and after 6 months. There are different ways of doing antiplication which were studied. This Telbor from Iran has published his results, and this was first time presented in World Congress of Endoscopy in 2008. And here he has shown at 6 months 57% weight loss, at 2 year it was 60%, at 4 year it is 55% excess weight loss. And this is in a graph form. From Cleveland Clinic, they studied this plication anterior versus the greater curvature plication, and this was a poster which was presented in IPSO, where they did antiplication and post-op, and these are the endoscopic views of both the procedures. And here they shown about weight loss about 12.6% at antiplication and 22.4% at greater curvature plication, and reduction of BMI in the range of 5 to 8% at 1 year. Almino and Gleo, who is present here, has presented their poster in IPSO again in 2009, and they had shown 28% excess weight loss at 1 year. And this was their publication, and this was a publication by Huang from Taiwan, who has done 26 patients with adjustable gastric band. And these are the results with the adjustable gastric band with plication. At 1 year, it was at 1 month it was 21.9%, and at 12 months it was 59.6, almost same 60% excess weight loss, and only 1.1 time band adjustment was required in the whole series. That means the band was hardly required to adjust in all these patients, and they lost weight without even without band, and there was no morbidity or mortality observed in any of these patients. This was another publication by Huang, and he's proved that adjustable gastric band with plication are both are restrictive and reductive effects, and they are reversible. A technique is safe, feasible, and reproducible, and can be used as an alternative bariatric procedure. This was another publication by Sarkas from obesity surgery in 2011, where greater curvature plication is shown as emerging technique, sparing gastric resection and use of foreign material like staple or avoiding a gastric bypass. it is effective in and satisfactory in person with BMI less than 45. That is what he conclude, and the complication rates are acceptable. This is from Martin Fried from Czech Republic, and he has shown short-term results of weight loss by gastric plication in type 2 diabetes, and they have very low or minimum complications, are very acceptable. And these are the comparative data with different series, and most of them are having weight loss in tune of 50 to 60% at 3 years, which is almost comparable with the sleeve gastrectomy at 3 years. This is a randomized trial which I started comparing sleeve gastrectomy with gastric plication, and we enrolled 30 patients in both group. And in gastric plication group we had 12 patients, and sleeve we had 17 patients. And this is enrollment status. And if you look at the comorbidities, these are the comorbidities present with these patients, and look at the results at the weight loss at this is the BMI at the baseline, and this is BMI at the end of 3 years, which is almost comparable with sleeve gastrectomy and gastric plication. And this is excess weight loss at 3 years, which is 41.4% with implication, with 49.75% with the sleeve gastrectomy. There was only 2 patients who had prolonged hospitalization in imbrication group, mainly because of colicky pain and vomiting, and they were discharged on day 6. And there was revision surgery required in 1 patient because of tight suturing at the antrum, which required resuturing, revision of the plication to a little loose plication. And no patient of sleeve gastrectomy in this group required prolonged hospitalization. If you look at the complication of imbrication, we had 1 leak at day 6 and 1 leak at the 2 month, and 1 patient required revision of imbrication because of tight. That is what I already discussed with you. So the issues which are there in gastric plication is, if we have a good device which can measure the intraluminal pressure, I think we can do a good application with the same pressure everywhere, so we are not having lot of edema or narrowing of the tube. Edema, if you can use some substance which can reduce the edema, maybe because of some low dose steroid or maybe glucagon. The quality of life in gastric plication is very good, in the sense once they go home without nausea and vomiting, which is a very rare complication. If we do with the good sizer like this endoflip device, when we started using, if we can measure the intraluminal pressure and we do the sleeve this gastric imbrication, they go home without any problem, and they never experience any nausea, vomiting after the discharge, and the quality of life is very good. In imbrication group, what we have observed is that there is hardly any muscle loss with the weight loss, which is a very common problem with sleeve gastrectomy. Most of these patients whom we do sleeve gastrectomy, irrespective of whatever we advise, they don't take adequate protein, and particularly in India, we Indians are having vegetarian diet, and when they don't take adequate protein, they lose their muscle mass, and that is again a major problem which need to be addressed. And these are the publications which we already discussed. So overall, if we say there are advantages with sleeve gastrectomy by gastric imbrication, there is no cutting or removing of the stomach. The stomach is available for any future use if at all it is required. Gastric plication causes few food restrictions, and there is no nutritional deficiencies. Even if we don't put these patients on multivitamins, they do well. There is no permanent or long-term complications arise because of nutritional deficiencies. And plication can be reversed easily after this surgery or during any other surgery if you want, and it is safe compared to any other weight loss surgeries, and with the minimum complication rates. I have revised plications. I have done revision plication to sleeve, plication to bypass, and I have done almost every procedure after plication, and it is not difficult if technically we are good. And most important part here is that this surgery is affordable, in the sense we can do it at the price of a gallbladder surgery. With this, I end my talk, and thank you so much for patience hearing. And I invite all of you for the OSCON, which is in January last week, that is from 30th and 31st of January at Ahmedabad. And I invite all of you to join us. Thank you so much for patience hearing.
Thank you, Dr. Narwaria. I think in this debate, both of them are winners. We would all agree. And we are looking forward to the inauguration, and we are very honored to have His Excellency Mr. Venkaiah Naidu with us. Dr. Mufi, please take over for the inauguration.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is a singular honor for me personally, as the Principal Trustee Courts, and on behalf of Mufazzal, to extend a very hearty welcome to Honorable Sri Venkaiah Naidu ji, who despite his very, very hectic busy schedule and the political upheaval which is on today, has just come to address us. It only signifies one important point: the importance he gives to the healthcare and to this subject. On behalf of all of us, to cut it short, we must wish him happy birthday, which was 3 days back. A happy birthday to you, sir. And a little historic fact that Falaknuma is in his heart. During the darkest period of our country, he used to have secret palace in Falaknuma, from where he guided the students' movement and Janata Party came to power. He has been the Honorable Minister of Rural Development, one of the most important functionaries, and has been continuously a member of Parliament for now decades. He, in fact, is one of the most revered and senior leaders. I don't have to talk about that. And maybe the man in waiting for the big job also at some time. A hearty welcome to you, sir. And I'll pass it on to Mufi to say further.
Thank you. We're breaking away from this routine program right now just because I'm personally honored and very happy to have you, sir, because I spoke to sir some time back and told him that we are having this kind of meeting and we have some of the leading people coming in terms of bariatric and metabolic surgery from across the world. I thought, whenever a celebrity or anybody who's a well-known figure kind of gets operated, I think he puts a stamp on what we do. And today, as bariatric surgeon sitting here, I think we can't get a better stamp than him, because he's endorsed what we've been arguing throughout the day. Does this work in diabetes? And he'll probably give us a few words of his as probably one of the leading policymakers in this country. He belongs to one of the largest political parties and definitely has a say in some of the health policies that this country does make and has made in the past. And now, having been a patient himself, as to how he feels and why he opted for the surgery when a lot of his endocrinologists probably told him not to do so. So thank you, sir, for coming here. And it's an honor to have you in front of probably the galaxy of stars from all across the globe. So if you can come up, sir, and say a few words. Okay. So I just like to welcome Venkaiah Naidu ji. Aparna, if you can get a bouquet, please. Yeah. So if you can carry on.
Dr. Rakdawala ji, surgeons who have come from various parts of Asia and other countries, friends, brothers and sisters. I'm extremely happy to be amidst you today. At the same time, I'm a little nervous. I think first time in my life. As a politician, I never used to be nervous because whatever it comes to my mind, whatever I used to think right, I used to forthrightly speak about it in party forums and also in parliament and also in cabinet and also in the international forums. But today, I have a galaxy of people in front of me who are all experts in their own way in a subject where I am illiterate. I came today basically because of my love and also respect for my doctor, Dr. Rakdawala, and he told me that he is going to have a conference like this. I myself volunteered. I said I will also come over there and present before the people and explain my own experience. I have not gone for surgery because of obesity. I was not that much overweight also. But I was worried because of my diabetic. Diabetes, you all know, is a very slow killer. And there is no prevention as such. I am a busy person for the last 33 years. I have been traveling around the state and the country every month, minimum 21 days. Though I am a disciplined person in public life, I was not taking care of my health. Most of the time, as I told you, I used to go around. My daughter sarcastically used to comment saying that my father comes to my house also once in a way. Because most of the time I used to go around and spend at various places and eat different foods. And there was no timetable to be followed because it was all public pressure. You have to meet the deadlines and then you have to accept the wishes of the party cadre and general public. So that being the case, the diabetic has gone up and then I was literally worried. I had no other major problems because along with diabetic I had hypertension. Did not have other major problems, but that was agitating my mind. And most of my regular activity was also affected to some extent because of this increasing diabetes. I was worried. When I heard about the doctor, I went and straight away met him, explained to him. He in turn explained to me, I think in 7-8 minutes. I was convinced. Then I told him, let us go ahead, then I'll have surgery. I didn't even tell anybody. I didn't tell my wife, my daughter and other people also till I took the decision. After I took the decision, I told them. When I suggested this to some of my senior colleagues in the party, they all warned me, why are you doing it? You are healthy. There is no overweight also, not much that way. So why are you doing this? They all told me it will have negative consequences, please don't do it and all. But I believed the doctor. I have gone through the procedure. Today, I think exactly 1 year, 2 days of the surgery, I am feeling very comfortable in my life. My diabetic is practically has been reduced to nominal. Doctor has told me to give up insulin. I used to take 36 units of insulin twice a day, along with the tablets. Now I have practically given up insulin. I am on a tablet, morning and evening. Then my BP levels also have come down 120/80, to my surprise, in spite of all the worries that are there in the political and public life of the country. And then I am feeling, more than anything else, very comfortable. And then I am able to focus on my work and also carry on the innovative ideas that come to my mind from time to time, because there is no other worry. The only worry is about country and our larger issues. That is a larger issue, but there is no problem on health count. I must also admit, the only minus point, if at all I have to say, which is still little worrying me, is that I feel there is some amount of muscle loss, particularly in the left hand. And then some pain when I travel in train and sleep on my hand, bend this side. Sometimes it gives little pain. Except that there is no other side effect whatsoever. I play shuttle every day morning whenever I am in Delhi for 1 hour, very comfortable. Within 2 months of operation, I started playing shuttle, badminton. Then I walk around 25 to 30 minutes, not much, daily. That also I am very comfortable. Then I am addressing meetings regularly, no problem at all. 4 meetings, 5 meetings also, I am not getting tired. Even when I spoke in parliament also, people could not find much difference, except everybody has noticed the personality. Some people say, sir, oh, Purana personality acha tha, because that, what do you call it as, that aura, and then they call it in Indian language, aharyam, that big personality and all. But now I feel more comfortable, and then I feel, the doctor told me at the time that your diabetics will go, and then for another 10 to 15 years, you will be more comfortable. So this is my experience. I thought I should share this experience with not only with the doctors, with also general public. Normally, politicians or icons in public life or celebrities, they don't reveal that they have gone through a procedure. Sometimes people feel shy. I don't feel shy. I have nothing to hide. I am already married, and then I have grandchildren also. Then I am not a cinema actor. I am a public personality. I should be comfortable, and I should be frank with the public, and life should be transparent. That's why on the third day, on the third day, I myself asked my office to put up a small press note saying that I have gone through gastric bypass surgery because of diabetic, and I am recovering fast. Within 10 days, I will be back in normal public life. A small statement has been issued from my office that was published widely, and then people started making inquiries. What is this gastric bypass surgery, then how diabetic can be cured, etc. Lot of inquisitive inquiries were made from different parts of the country, and many of my colleagues also consulted me and talked to me also. Because I have friends, I feel that the lifestyle has changed worldwide. The atmosphere also is changing fast. And also the living conditions also are changing fast. The LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization, that is moving faster. And the amount of pressure and stress on mind is also increasing. The food habits of people also are changing. So with all this, they are having effect on our health. Unless we take care of our health, unless we have some way wherein we can fight this diabetic, you cannot be normal. So one procedure that has been suggested and then which I have followed has given me maximum relief. I feel very happy, and I feel that people who are all suffering of type 2 diabetic and at an advanced stage of diabetic, they should go for this procedure and then should get benefited. This is my experience, and I have been telling a lot of people, and a lot of people are making inquiries. I have been to Dr. Lakdawala's clinic in Mumbai. Then I found that a lot of people are coming and making inquiries. Doctor is immensely popular, not only in Mumbai, he is popular across the country in India. We are very happy at a very young age. He could come to this stage, and then he is able to serve the society in a better manner with these new techniques that are emerging. The last point I want to make is that initially any change or any revolutionary alternative suggestion will not be accepted by any society. There will be some amount of resistance, and there will be some amount of fear and doubts also, particularly when you are tackling with the stomach and also intestine and all these things. Naturally, there will be queries and there will be doubts and there will be fear also. So we have to address those fears, and we have to effectively counter the arguments. That can be done not by simple arguments, by own experience, by research, and then by way of trying to understand the actual problems and coming with solutions. That is the need of the hour. Initially, I am told even in America, the American Physician Association initially was not receptive to this idea. Subsequently, now worldwide it's gaining acceptance. In India, obesity has become a major problem. Diabetic has become a much more bigger problem. Even the children are getting affected by diabetic. because of stress, because of food habits, because of other things. That being the case, this has to be developed further, and then there has to be further improvement with regard to techniques and all. I had a simple, I think 1 hour 30 minutes or 1 hour 45 minutes surgery. My cardiologist was there, my diabetologist also was there during the operation, and then afterwards, after 3 days, I have been discharged from the office and then started feeling normal. I did not have any major problem during the last 1 year. I did not have any occasions even to interact with the doctor also, because you know, politicians go to doctor only as and when they are in trouble. On normal times, nobody will go to doctor. Not only politicians, even general public also. So that's an indication that the procedure was a success. So I am happy about my own experience, and I feel that on one side, research, the government of India and the governments in different parts of the country, they are not spending enough on health. I am not trying to criticize anybody. There is a need to increase more and more spending on health, more and more spending on research and advancement of research further. Because as I told you, we are getting a lot of problems with the change of life. And secondly, the awareness among the society also has to be created. The dietitians, the nutrition people, they should be more active. They should be interacting with the universities, colleges, with the students, with the younger generation, because obesity is becoming a major problem among the younger generation, even in India also. That being the case, there is every need to advise them properly, counsel them properly before they get any of these diseases. And secondly, they have to, with no other alternative, this procedure for surgery is another best alternative. Only thing is that the governments should fix up some standards. Otherwise, what will happen? Failure of 1% and 2%, that will be highlighted by the media. The success stories are often not highlighted or talked about. The negatives or the failures are normally highlighted. That is the system anywhere. So that being the case, if people who do not have adequate experience, adequate exposure, or adequate knowledge, or the required education, etc., if they do these surgeries and if they fail, then there will be terrific reaction, and the fear in the society also will increase further. That care has to be taken. We as lawmakers, I take note of this, and then we will do whatever is possible by us at our level. Friends, I'm very happy that this conference is being held in Hyderabad, in my home state. Though I rarely stay in my state, I go around the country. I do not have a regular place to live. I am from Andhra Pradesh. My family is in Tamil Nadu. I am elected from Karnataka. Till yesterday, I was in charge of Maharashtra and Delhi, and I stay in Delhi national headquarters. So that being the case, I cannot say that I am from a particular place, but place of birth is place of birth. I would have been more happy to be with you for much more longer time and interact with you, meet you, greet you, and also talk to you, spend some time. Doctor has suggested to me that I should stay back for the dinner in the night, interact with you people. I would have been happy also, but unfortunately, the political situation is hotting up day by day. People are talking of early elections. We don't know what is going to happen, etc. One important registration has come today. Party wanted us to react on that. So I have to go back. I'm not able to spend this evening as per the desire of doctor. I'm extremely happy. I'm feeling lighter. I'm feeling happier. And I'm feeling more confident that I can do and carry on my mission further with all vigor and vitality that has been given to me because of this procedure. I would like to thank you all. It's not only Dr. Rakhdawala, all of you are doing human service to the cause of mankind in your respective countries and your respective sphere of activities. Please continue this and try to evolve new methods and then try to make it foolproof. All the best to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I think it gives a shot in the arm to most of us as bariatric surgeons. And since you're here, sir, we could use your services to honor another Indian who's done India proud. I think a fact that you might not know, sir, the first president of the International Surgical Society who's an Indian is here amongst us. And I would like to really call in Dr. Pradeep Chaube from Delhi. Yeah, to honor him with a small little memento. So Dr. Chaube is the first Indian to be the president of the World Obesity Surgical Society, sir. Just get that.
God bless you. Carry on this mission.
Thank you. Say one second. And since I have both of you here, so another budding bariatric surgeon who we have trained, and we train people for a yearly fellowship, sir. And he's just completed his fellowship. I'd like for both of you, I think it will be a great honor for him if both of you can honor him with his completion certificate. So I'd like to call Amit Sood. He's from Punjab, and like we said, thanks. So if you can honor some of our foreign delegates and give them a memento from our side, I'd like to call in no particular order, Jan Grieve. Jan is from Netherlands. And since he's the tallest guy who can match your height, so I called him in first. Jan.
All the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Harry, now as we go from tall to short, I'm calling in Harry, but he's short in no manner of means. He's an Australian, sir, and he's probably the youngest pediatric surgeon I've known.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And all of us.
Thanks. I'd like to call in Professor Kitano. Professor Kitano is the chairman of the Aita University in Japan, sir. And a very senior man in the laparoscopic field in Asia. Thank you. Dr. Kasama. Dr. Kasama is also from Japan and probably the guy who's done the largest number of bariatric surgeries in Japan. Dr. Raad. Dr. Raad Al-Mahdi is from Oman, Muscat, sir, and thanks. Abdul. Dr. Nimeri is from Abu Dhabi. He's basically from Saudi, but now he's settled in Abu Dhabi, and he's one of the leading surgeons in Abu Dhabi. We've got a neighbor who's no longer a neighbor because he's living in Singapore. Asim Shabir, he's from Pakistan originally, but trains people in Singapore and has become a Singaporean, I guess. Even Pakistan. Dr. Jaideep Rajarao. Again, is from Singapore, from the Tan Tock Seng Hospital in Singapore. Thanks. So, I'll try and get his name right. It's Udom Swamsep. I got it right. So he's from Bangkok, Thailand, sir. Dr. Simon Wong. Simon Wong is from Hong Kong, sir. Thanks. Wilfred Mui. Wilfred is again from Hong Kong, sir. Thanks. Hui, could you please come? Dr. Hui Liang is from Nanjing, China.
Hello. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Chinki. Dr. Chinkifa is a professor of surgery from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Thank you. Thank you. Anton, it's your turn, though you're sitting very far away. Anton Cheng actually belongs to New Zealand, but now is settled in Singapore. And his connection to Singapore is his wife. Manuel? So Dr. Manuel Galvao is from Brazil. Vijay. Vijay is one of the senior most people and the father figure in bariatric surgery in Asia. He's from Taiwan, Taipei.
Nice meeting you, sir.
Vijay. Photo. Ricardo. Ricardo Cohen is again the president of the Brazilian Surgical Society.
All the best. Brazil.
Brazilian Surgical Society. Thank you. I think, have I missed out on anybody? I think John and our friends from Chile, Camilo, and I can't see them, so anybody else? Sorry, sir. Yeah, Dr. Morris. Sorry, Dr. Morris, please. Please come, Dr. Morris. Dr. Morris is with Baxter. He's the medical director. Paris.
You could remember all the names. Great.
Yeah, they're all
Foreign
personal.
names.
And luckily I could pronounce it correctly. Yeah. Anybody I missed out on? I've finished. Cause yeah, Luigi and John are not here. So and Camilo is not here. So Dr. Luigi is the next president of the World Society. I think he's having a swim. He's an Italian, so the Italian mafia told him he needs to go and have a swim right now. And Dr. John Dixon is from Australia, and Camilo is from Chile, but they're not here, so maybe later. If we can, Ponzi, Aparna. So Dr. Aparna was there during your surgery, and you know her. So I'd like ask her to honor you with a bouquet. Amit, honor the hand. Just also, just before before you go off, we've got two new trainees from, one is from Saudi Arabia, sir. Ahmed Jan, he's actually from Afghanistan, but is now lived and born in Saudi, and he's come here for a 1-year fellowship with us.
All the best.
So, and Dr. Hind Khalifa is again from Oman and Muscat, and she's come to us for another 1-year fellowship. So we train people from all across.
Congratulations. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Anybody has any questions for sir? Because this is the greatest opportunity to ask him. You'll never get close to him otherwise. Trust me. He has this whole coterie of bodyguards around him, so it's very difficult to get close to him. Yes, sir. Dr. Parveen Bhatia from Delhi, sir.
It was very good, excellent to know about your views about the bariatric surgery and the surgeon. Is it possible to present the same views in front of the insurance people?
It's a good question. I'm told that in India, this obesity is not considered as a disease, but it's high time now is a reality. This has to be thought over by the health ministry and then know the practice in different parts of the world and then come to the conclusion to declare this also as a disease so that it can be covered in insurance. I have no problem to speak in front of anybody. I'm not doing any marketing. I will not do it also, but at the same time to say the facts There's no problem whatsoever.
No, so what I mean to say is that you should guide us that how we can reach to the masses by getting it insured, so that most of the people, as we know that India is going to be the diabetes capital of the world, so why not have that beforehand, and then help the people?
The only thing is, first of all, the government of India, health ministry should recognize this as a disease. Then only the insurance people will accept to insure this particular type of disease, particular type of problem as a disease. That has to be thought over. I'll talk to my other colleagues in the parliament and then try to create a positive mood among some of our colleagues, and then try to talk to the health minister and then try to move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let us hope so. Irrespective of whether we are in the ruling party or opposition party, we will have some say in parliament. I'll try to use my good offices for this. Because this is not for doctors. It is for the mankind. There's a serious problem, a gigantic problem which is increasing day by day in India. That is the reality, and no government, no party can close its eyes to this serious problem.
So what has been the view of your detractors who retracted you from surgery now?
They are not detractors. They are they were very fond of me. And they thought that unnecessarily there may be complications, etc. Otherwise, on the face of it, outside, I was looking healthy, hefty, strong, and then walking very briskly, talking also very fast, and then doing all the programs. I used to address nearly 8 to 10 meetings also per day. So they were saying, why are you going for this unnecessary? You know, in India, obesity means somebody should be like this. No, I was not like that. And because they said, because your height and weight and all, that's okay. Why you go for this? But I was suffering inside because some amount of problem inside. Slowly, I was worried that it may affect kidney, it may affect eyes, it may affect the other systems. So keeping that in mind, I consulted the doctor and I was convinced the response he has given. And then I went for this. After seeing that, now they're all feeling very happy, including my top leader himself told me, you are not overweight, why are you going for this?